Good morning, everybody. So, I'm just coming on with a little share. Obviously, tonight is our new moon partial eclipse online ceremony with Nicole Olson and myself. And I just wanted to share an update of what I've received in the past 24 hours as we lead up to the time, so we know a little bit more about what we're doing and the energies we're in. For me personally, it was interesting last night in that I didn't really get a lot of sleep. And really, that's kind of normally full moon energy. But I thought it was worth a share because actually, new moon energy can present like that too. As it was, because it wasn't new moon, whoo, flying about energy, full moon flying about energy, the new moon is that going deep and restfulness. So actually, I was very happy just to lie there and be recumbent for as long as I was able. And so it gave me opportunity to read a good book I'm reading, and then again to do some a good reflection and to tune in again and meditate on what was coming up for us tonight. So that is how the new moon can show up for you too. And so I'll share some of the downloads that I was receiving. Firstly, in relation to myself, I can see the cycles that I was completing, some of them small, some of them a little bit more meaty. Definitely for me, there's a shift from the spiritual work where I've been integrating, absorbing and creating, working in spirit, working to move everything that's on an ego base into more of a vertical approach, moving into that and continuing that process, of course, but it was about a shift into the integration has landed, and I'm moving into a sort of a more of a sharing, a storytelling phase, which is going to look like a lot of creation, a lot of creative energy into how that shows up through me into the world. So that's really exciting as to what courses, events, and just what generally I'm going to be doing. So I look forward to that landing and unfolding as the weeks come. And so that's the energy I'm bringing tonight to the new moon to bless and release. So things then that might be coming up for people, there's three major areas, and they all will have smaller reflections for each of us. So there has been an awful lot of it's like lots of completion, a real completion energy. And that's going to be true in so many ways. So as I said, for me, it can be little small projects that have been coming up and completing, mini cycles within bigger cycles, all of them very resonant to your greater path and journey. And then there could be some bigger ones. Now, your bigger ones, that's interesting because sometimes it might look really full on, like a really big shift, like you've left a relationship or you've left a job or you've left something in these recent times, and you've been experiencing this shift, and you're now going into it's about a reset of letting go of patterns and moving into the new stuff. So that could look like a full thing, or it could be partially within those aspects, because we're multidimensional beings as well as being very physically here. So there can be so many ways that shows up for us, both here on planet and on other layers. So the more work we do here, the more we can cleanse ourselves on all these different energetic levels and through these different cycles. So feel into what might be in that area that's coming up for you. And then the next thing is, and this is sad, and I've had a lot of people, and one close to me, people who are passing over right now. It's been a really huge time for many soul contracts to come to an end. So people have been like, yeah, no, I've done what I came to do. I've set the wheels in motion, and I'm being taken. It's my time. And it's not like it was a conscious decision. Sometimes it is, but it can be. And brings another whole wealth of difficulty on the human level to conceive and comprehend and sit with and work through those lower chakras, when we're working through things like that on planet, that can be really quite heavy going. On a spiritual level, it is a contract playing out. And so that is a very sensitive area for many of us, and something that we have to lean into very gently and carefully with all of our kind of curious, gentle self intact, to sit so perfectly quietly with ourselves while we work through that sort of level of emotion. And death, if you've had to experience that in any form, it leaves a big hole, and that the sense of loss within that can be very deep and all encompassing. So again, tonight is about bringing light to those darker spaces and helping to assist moving through the emotions and back into a more stable, a more centered approach, and a more, very centered and a more gentle, self-nurturing way of dealing with each of these things that's coming up. But the death one is a sensitive area that we are beginning to learn to unpick again now in newer, fresher, and yet also ancient ways. And death, it can be a transition of a soul passing from one energetic space and physical into the etheric realm again, or it can be, again, it's death of something that is ready to finish, something that needs to be cut and released. So that is, again, an area that we're leaning into, and that's the performance of what we're sort of doing, really. And then finally, the other thing that I've been shown that's really important is, I don't know if you've heard of internal family relationships. Now that is that, we've got all these different parts within us that are like our little mini family sitting around inside. So when we're going to make a decision or we're doing things, or different circumstances will create different aspects of ourselves to be presented. Sometimes, it might be hundreds of us at once. And that is when it gets a bit overwhelming and we're like, I don't know where I'm going. And then you throw in a few external voices and whoa, it's a right old stress bucket. So, again, we're going to be unloading that stress bucket tonight, letting out the bits that aren't actually part of you anyway. And also leaning into the parts that are you, but actually were serving you in your last phase. So the bits of you that were actually really helpful in helping you to reach this current state. They might not be all brilliant, but they kept you safe, they kept you sane, they kept you, coping through stuff. And actually, as you step into the new energy, you don't need that particular part of you now, because that perception, if you like, that person that was within you is not actually going to serve moving forward. And by serve, we just mean their way that they held you safe, that perception, that lens that they were helping you to look through will hold you in that old space, as opposed to allowing you to move forward. Now, these parts the thing is with Reiki energy and with your own curiosity and love, when you bring that to that space, these parts of us will leave and heal happily and go off merrily and allow us to move forward. What's difficult is if we try to go into the new, but with this part of us going, no, just shut up, I don't need that anymore, I'm a strong woman now, whatever, man, or whatever it is, that doesn't actually release the voice. That just continues to make it go, surely, I can help. I've always been so good to you, So it's like, it's about it's not trying anything. It's just being in that space of, yes, I'm releasing and opening up. And by being curious, we go in and we connect with those spaces, and it can be conscious or unconscious, subconscious. And each one will allow its release. Now, why Reiki will be good. So tonight, what we're doing through the process is we're connected with NIchole. She's going to lead us through the breath work, which will help us to our breath of life that we've talked about so much in recent weeks, is the bit that's going to connect to the parts of our body where that energy is stored, where we're storing those different aspects I've just talked about, and help them to come up to the surface and loosen them off. then, some of those will literally head off there and then. That's absolutely great. Capture a lot of that energy shifting through the breath work and just in listening to these videos, through talking, through sensing it, through being aware, you're already shifting. All we're doing tonight is just creating this lovely container for the magic to happen and for it to really be a ritual where we are intentionally letting go. Reiki energy, then, with me, I'm going to lead a meditation on that to connect us into that space at the Callanish Stones, which we're going to talk more about tonight, and their metaphysical properties for assisting with just this, are going to help to release the rest of that needs to go. So there we go. That's what's happening tonight. If you are drawn any way, it's unlimited tonight. You just need to message me or Nicole and give your intention to book, and we can send the Zoom link. We're also sending out a donation link if you would like to donate anything towards your cause and ours. And then, we'll go ahead. And of course, there are 13 moon cycles in the year, which are beautifully creative and powerful manifesting number for transformation. And so at each new moon, Nicole and I will be meeting and pulling in whatever the energies of that time are. So also just watch this space to see if this is something that you feel you're drawn to connect with and become a part of, because it's going to be a beautiful journey and it is going to be so deeply healing. Imagine that, connecting for a full year on a new moon and really doing that self-work. It'll be so empowering and so liberating and so diving in to your special path. So I look forward to seeing you tonight. Remember to drop a message if you would like to join, and we'll get down to some good work.